All right. Hello and welcome to our PowerPoint. We are doing mammal teeth morphology and evolution over time. We wanted to do something that we thought would tie well into evolution. And both Chase and I are pre-dental, so we wanted to do something that we were passionate about and interested in doing for the future. So on our first slide, why is this important and how are teeth unique? So lots of what scientists know of evolution is based off of teeth, actually. Organisms need to fossilize in order to be known, and this is something that we've discussed and learned about in our lab and lecture. And only hard parts fossilize, which is perfect for teeth because enamel and dentine are two of the hardest substances in the body, and both of those are found in teeth. And teeth are like fingerprints. So they're unique to the individual and they're also unique to the species. Another thing that makes teeth unique and helpful in determining evolution is something called inhibitory cascade. It was discovered by researchers, and it's the idea or the fact that the middle of three teeth is the average of the two it's between. So that's really helpful. You don't even need all the teeth to complete a full set. And also knowing the structure of teeth is really important in evolution because it helps indicate what an animal's diet is or was, whether they were an herbivore, a carnivore, or an omnivore. And this shows where they may be on the food pyramid. So in the pictures below, I have a picture of a dog, a horse, a lynx, and an elephant. The dog is an omnivore, and you can kind of see the front teeth a little bit. The horse is an herbivore, and this shows the front teeth of the herbivore. The lynx is a carnivore, and the elephant is an herbivore, but this one, I wanted to show you the back teeth of the herbivore. On the next slide, differences among mammals revealed by teeth. So herbivores, as we know, only eat plants. So they have square teeth with grooves in them, and these grooves help them mash and grind plant matter. And they need a large surface area because they need to intake more vegetation because plant matter doesn't really have a whole lot of nutrients, so more needs to be taken in to compensate for the low levels of nutrients. And I know the first picture down there looks kind of homodont, but this is only showing the back teeth of an herbivore, which was the picture of the elephant in the previous slide. We'll be talking more about homodont and heterodont later in this presentation. But the front teeth do look different. So this is a heterodont, but I wanted to use this picture more to show the shape of the square-shaped molars. And like I said, they have side-to-side jaw movement, which helps with the grinding of the plants. So carnivores, as we know, only eat meat. They have these front teeth called carnassials, and the carnassials help them grip and rip apart meat. And unlike herbivores, carnivores can swallow chunks of food. They don't need to grind it up or chomp it down. They can just, as long as the chunk is small enough for them to swallow, they're able to eat it. And they have up and down jaw movement. They don't need the side-to-side grinding. And then omnivores, which are a combination of herbivores and carnivores in diet, eat both plants and meat. So they obviously have similarities in dentition to carnivores and herbivores. So they have carnassials like carnivores do, which will help them grab into the meat and chew into that. But they also have square teeth with grooves as their molars. And they also have some teeth that neither carnivores nor herbivores have called tribosphenic molars. And that is when the bottom tooth and the top tooth fit together kind of like a puzzle piece. They fit together just perfectly. And this helps with eating meat as well as grinding plants. And because they're kind of a combination of carnivores and herbivores, they have up and down and side-to-side jaw movements. And although the omnivore picture does kind of look like a carnivore at the first glance, if you look closely, you can see the square molar teeth in the back.
Next, we're going to talk about the evolution of teeth. So the first known tooth structures were found in early vertebrates, such as the jawless fish. And these jawless fish had tooth-like structures, so not exactly teeth as we know them today, but structures that resembled closely to them. The jawless fish possess structures in their posterior pharynx. So posterior just is meaning back. So to give you a visual example, it's like thinking about if you had teeth all the way in the back of your mouth. And so as organisms continue to evolve, jaws became a common trait shared among the vertebrates. So some organisms actually ended up possessing both of these features. So the image to the right is an image of chinchlids. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but they have tooth-like structures both in the posterior pharynx and in an oral cavity. This slide is the difference of homodont versus heterodont. So hopefully this is kind of already a review because we talked about it in lab. But homodont teeth are those that look similar in appearance. So the image below to the left is a picture of a fish and they exhibit the homodont teeth. And the homodont teeth are most common in most of the fish, amphibians, and reptiles that are seen today. And they have the ability to constantly replace their teeth. And many of these organisms also have many rows of teeth. So, for example, if you think of a shark, they have many rows of teeth. So, if they lose a tooth and you happen to have a shark tooth necklace, it's a prime example. They don't worry too much because they can replace that tooth. Contrastly, the heterodont teeth is what is present in mammals like ourselves. They're different in appearance, so all teeth will not look the same, and they cannot replace multiple times. So back when we were little and you lost your tooth, you were able to replace that tooth. However, if you were to lose a tooth today, you wouldn't be able to replace it again. But in some cases, fish and reptiles can have heterodont teeth. So some reptiles possess the heterodont tooth, and leposaurs are a type of reptile that do. And they're in the front, their front teeth are recurved, and their back teeth can be a variety of different things. So they could have blade-like structures, or they could have laterally compressed back teeth. It just depends on the reptile.
There are four basic types of teeth in the oral cavity for mammals, which are divided by position in the mouth and function, and they're divided into incisors, canines, and molliform teeth. Incisors are located in the front of the mouth, and they are grounded in the upper anterior maxilla for the upper part of the mouth, and for the lower teeth, they're located in the lower mandible for the lower jaw. And they typically have a shovel-shaped appearance, as you can see right here to the left, far left of human teeth. You can see our incisors. They are shovel kind of rounded-ish. And incisors are sharp and blade-like, so they're great for like grasping, nipping, biting off, stripping foods, and they're perfect as they also help the indigestion of other foods before they are used by the teeth. Further, we have canines. Canines are located beside the four upper and lower incisors, and depending on the typical foods consumed, the mammalian canines range in size and sharpness, and they're just strong and pointed, making them very useful for stabbing, biting, tearing, biting, and holding prey. Also, they can be very sharp or kind of dull, depending on the mammal. They often have these sharp pointed edges, and most herbivores, they have smaller canines. And honestly, as we have seen in the images in the for in the previous PowerPoints, in the slides, it would be difficult for carnivores to be able to eat without having their canines. Lastly, we have the premolars and molars, and this unit together, they are called the molliform teeth. And these molars are broad and flat on the top, making them very useful for fragmenting foods, chunks, tearing, grinding, slicing. And there is great differentiation in mammalian molar types, which we've learned in lab, including the Budodont, Lophodont, Seleniodont, and carnassial molars. And depending on the organism, they can be more specialized. And the images I have here, the lowest right to the right, we can see just the formation of those cheek teeth or molars and the direction that they typically move as the organism consumes its prey.
This is the phylogenetic tree that depicts what is the believed evolution of teeth. And I just want to remind you guys that phylogenetic trees are not right or wrong, they're just hypothesized. So at the earliest node that is visible on this phylogenetic tree, we have vertebrae, and this is where the split between jawless fish and the jawed vertebrates occur. And as you travel through evolution, so you're moving to the right, but upwards, kind of, you have the node that's labeled amniota, and that's the most recent that is depicted on this tree, and that forms the phylogenetic group of the Mammalia, which is like ourselves, and also Cerospoda. So this is just saying that their teeth are basically most common to the Mammalia ones. And Cerospodas are the lizard faces. They're known as lizard faces, and that includes birds and reptiles, just to give you guys some sort of idea. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed our presentation. This concludes our presentation, and we hope you guys learned some more about the evolution of teeth.